These alluring images of wild Florida are the work of Clyde Butcher. His intuition allows him to capture just the right moment, creating imagery of light and shadow cast upon primeval landscapes.
Yeah, people ask me here in Florida, what's your favorite spot? Behind your gallery. What was Dalí's favorite spot? Right where he lived. I mean, that's what a true artist does, is he reflects where he lives. He doesn't go out and do things that he doesn't know anything about. He he was one with this area. So that's where he got his inspiration, where he lived, and that's what true artists do.
Butcher has been shooting photography for over 65 years. He resides in Venice, Florida, with his wife, Nikki.
I started my photography career at 7 years old, and when I was 9, my folks took me to national parks. And I moved up to a twin-lens Yashica 127. I was really top. And I started photographing, and because I think my dad was really into CC camps, and they did photography for the hobby. So I think he encouraged me.
As an architecture student, Butcher found photography useful. But it was during a trip to Yosemite National Park, when he discovered Ansel Adams' work, that his interest in photographing the natural environment took hold. Butcher married his wife, Nikki, also an avid photographer. They had a daughter, Jackie, and their son, Ted. Butcher traded a career in architecture for photography when his photographs began selling at small art shows and eventually department stores. He then combined timepieces with his pictures and began manufacturing photo clocks. Slim margins in the gift sales industry led to the tough decision to sell the photo clock business. The Butchers moved from California to Florida with their sailboat in 1980. In Florida, Butcher was introduced to the Big Cypress Preserve and the Florida Everglades, which he began photographing in color. He also discovered the Dali Museum.
I had heard about Salvador Dalí in school, and the museum had just opened up in St. Petersburg, this in '82. So I talked Nikki into going, and I was fascinated with his sense of humor. I guess one of the things that really got me was those clocks he did, the drooping clocks. So I was in the clock business, you know.
Inspired by his visit to the Dalí, Clyde began experimenting with techniques.
I got transparencies. I went to NASA and got a bunch of stuff from NASA, from their archives. I had this boat I photographed, it was called Flying Dutchman, and I had photographed a lot of stuff in color. So I got a series of color slides, and I enlarged those on a piece of color film. Do the exposure, take it down to the lab, I had to process it, I had to make a print. It took a while to get these things figured out. It was a period of discovery. I did the Flying Dutchman. It's a sailboat between the Earth and the Moon. So I was doing this to find myself, I think. And luckily, in the meantime, I eventually found Florida, and kind of history since there.
In 1987, tragedy came to pass when the Butchers lost their son, Ted.
There was June 15th, our son was killed, a traffic accident. And it took a while well, we were really confused to what to do. I was shooting color, and I was doing really well at the art shows. But I felt there was something missing. You were seeing the color, you weren't seeing the image. And I said, I think I need to go to black and white. And of course, now, the sales in color were like 20 times more than people are selling black and white. So this is not a very good business decision. So I took that first shot of the dunes and I converted it to black and white. And I said, I like that.
Butcher's new black and white photos recall his inspirations, Edward Weston and Ansel Adams. Today, Clyde Butcher is known as the Ansel Adams of Florida by virtue of his iconic photography of Florida landscapes. Butcher has collaborated with conservationists to help bring to light not only the beauty of the Everglades, but also the importance of protecting Florida's natural environment and wildlife. It was only natural for the Dali Museum to propose that Florida's greatest landscape photographer travel to Dalí's beloved Costa Brava to see what sublime beauty he might discover.
And when you see this church, basically that one church is, I think, kind of like the center of town. So there's a center of the community. And I noticed all the people seemed to know each other, which you don't find in large cities. And they were very friendly people, very friendly people. We had a lot of interesting food to eat too there. But then we got exploring the area, and I said, oh, this reminds me of Monterey. And because we really got to know the place. We were just, 10, 12 hours a day, we were exploring every day. Different weather. Oh, we had that great day, couple of days where the wind was blowing, but it made some great shots. My hair is blowing like mad, and it's cold, we've been wrapped up. And this Dali's home, you could tell this guy was really far out. Every part of it was a different experiment, a different piece of art. And the eggs, Jackie, we got a picture of Jackie jumping out of the egg. The fishermen just bring their boats up in his yard, and because he was connected to, I think, the people there. He was enjoy the community.
Butcher is known for using large format cameras to produce massive prints with striking detail. For this project, he chose a smaller, more mobile, digital Sony camera. As this exhibit demonstrates, the results are as successful as his large format camera work.
Most people with digital cameras are just out there banging away. And I shoot digital just like I shoot film. I wait for the composition, the light. Some days we took 2 pictures. It's hard to explain to people that I don't shotgun shoot. I bet there's not more than 20 shots I didn't use. It's all. If you can't see it, you can't photograph it. And people try to create something that's not there. So this is my camera. and the heart and the eye is the camera.
Clyde Butcher's photographs of Dalí's Catalan world bring to life the vistas, inlets, and the geological delirium which Dalí embraced from his childhood to his death. The skills Butcher developed over the decades, photographing Florida's wild, enabled him to find new subtleties within Dalí's familiar dream world.
But when people see the exhibit, I would like them to be able now to relate to his paintings so that you can say, oh gosh, that's what inspired him to do this painting.
Butcher invites us to see Dalí's world with new eyes, eyes tempered by Florida's own geological and ecological delirium.